Good morning. This is Michael Millard for Realtime Rendering Assignment 2, and this is my demonstration. So I have chosen to demonstrate with the Utah teapot, a sphere, a donut, and Suzanne the monkey. I will be tweaking my various parameters using this ImGUI, but first a bit about the scene. I've gone with a skybox set in Berlin, I believe. I felt that the graffiti wall behind the object would help demonstrate some of the effects quite nicely with the variety of colors it contains. And I felt that this opening in the viewpoint at the back here would reflect quite nicely off of the models when I turn the base reflectance up as a parameter. So the parameters I've included in my GUI are ethers for each of the 3 color channels that will allow me to demonstrate the chromatic dispersion and the reflectance, the base reflectance for the Fresnel effect, which I have coded in my shaders using the Fresnel-Schlick approximation. So if I turn the base reflectance up, it's going to start, you should start seeing the background reflecting off of each of these models. Up to 0.1, I believe, is a pretty realistic reflectance. It's quite a high one, but I've actually given it free rein to give it more of a metallic appearance. So I really turn it all the way up and turn the ether values right down to create what would appear as a metal object with very, very reflective properties. But I'm going to turn it down for the demonstration to about 0.8, so you can slightly see the reflectance going on. But to demonstrate the chromatic dispersion, if I turn the red refractive index down and the blue one up, we should see a slight prism effect taking place where red light is now bending less than blue light, which is creating the chromatic dispersion. And if I really turn it up, it'll really exaggerate this effect, and it'll give this really, really rainbow-like, highly chromatic dispersive effect. To end the demonstration, I've created a bunch of presets, which are just different material types and a drop-down menu for adding dispersion effects to each of them. So I started with water, and you can follow each of the parameter values as I change them, starting with quite a low base reflectance of 0.02 for water, so you can't really see the background reflecting too well there. If I add a weak dispersive effect, you can see the slight chromatic dispersion taking place, and if I make that strong, it is more of an exaggerated effect. So I added water, air. Air has a refractive index of 1, so you can see the objects are not barely visible in the scene, just slight artifact of the Fresnel effect on the outskirts, but light is not bending at all since the refractive index is the same, and according to Snell's law, it's going to just transmit straight through the material. Metal, again, that will have the very high reflectance parameter and the very low refractive indices, so no light will be transmitting through this, and it will be showing purely the background, giving it a very metallic reflective appearance. And then finally I had plastic, which will have very high refractive indices, much closer to air, and I've just set the reflectance to be 0.05 for this parameter. If I add a slight weak dispersive effect, you can see the slight rainbow effect that has. And that is my presentation. Thank you.